Welcome back to another episode of T Talks. This time round, we're going a little bit technical, so it should actually be called a technical T Talk.
Or tech talk.
A tech talk. There you go. We like that. We're going to get a little bit technical this time round. Reason being, we want to go through some of the metrics you're potentially missing within your Google ad account, because we see a lot of brands, we see a lot of ad accounts, and we know that a lot of people rely on the default metrics within Google Ads.
Yeah.
And they're missing a trick. They're missing some gold, aren't they?
They do.
And it's kind of hidden, and we want to get into it. So this is going to be fun, this one. But I'm caveating it because we are going to have to go a little bit more technical. But I think there's going to be some real value in this episode. So yeah, really want to get into it. Just to kick us off then, Con, what are the standard metrics that most brands, if they're running their ad account or if they've got an agency running their ad account, but they're going to just go and have a quick look at it, what are the obvious ones that we're going to see?
Yeah, so the obvious ones, what we're going to see is obviously the budget, how much they spend, the click-through rate, the cost per click, average cost per click, all that stuff. You will then also see the conversion value and conversion rate, then conversion value to cost, which essentially is your ROAS. So that's an important one, but it's a default one. And then your impressions and clicks. And that's about it. Very, very often we see when we inherit accounts is that the setup was never done beyond these few. And that's, I mean, outside of this is where the magic happens.
Yeah, it really, and that's exactly it. Because, we know because we speak to brands and we say, well, look at your performance, and we mention certain, certain metrics within, and what's that? I've never heard of this thing. And we're like, it's because you haven't gone beyond the default, because within the Google Ads interface, hopefully if you're watching this, you can pause this episode, you can go and look at it and see what we're talking about, and then you can come back and carry on. But within the Google Ads interface, there is a lovely little button that says, when you're looking at all your metrics, it says modify columns.
And we love that button.
We love that button. We love that button. So we massage that button every day, because when you click modify columns, you are presented with a treasure trove of additional metrics and data points that you can simply select, and all the data is there, you're just not visually seeing it. And we're not adding anything new that's not already there. It's just the default is only showing you 10% of the picture of the performance of your ads. Whatever type of ad campaign, whatever size of scalability, you're only seeing a portion of the data, albeit some of the important ones, but there's so much more if you delve a little bit deeper. And so by modifying the columns, you've got a massive amount of options there. And what we've done and what we're going to go through in this T Talk is some of our favorites.
Yes.
And why.
Absolutely.
So do you want to kick us off? What is one of your favorites that we always switch on and we use?
Yeah, and I mean, these are absolutely underrated, and I see people just not using them enough. So, for example, one of the very first ones that I switch on is always search lost impression share by budget. So essentially, this nice little column will tell me exactly how much of the budget how much of the search results potentially were lost due to
how much of the budget's holding you back?
Budget. Yeah, exactly that.
So how much? But again, because without enabling that column, you don't know. Yes, Google will flag up and tell you your campaign is limited by budget. But actually, what you also need to know to get the full picture is, well, how much are my ads? How much impression share? And impression share is how often your ads are coming up compared to how often their search for what you're bidding on.
Yeah, so then if you have a number of, let's say, 5%, that's fine, that's perfectly normal. But if you go anything beyond, say, 15, 20, 30%, then all of a sudden that's a bit of a red flag, because you might be missing out on a lot of impressions just purely because your budget is either too low or it's not allocated correctly, or your ads are being shown at the wrong time of the day. Yeah,
and just to try and kind of simplify it for anyone that's not particularly technical, what we're saying is the impression share is this column, and the others that we're going to get into will highlight how the frequency with which someone is searching for your product, your service, your brand, whatever it is, and it's how often you would have received that impression, which in turn would then lead to that click, because without the impression you're not getting the click. How often you would have got that were it not for your budget holding you back, essentially. That's what it's basically doing, isn't it? So and the other column that I absolutely love, and we both do, is much the same, but then search impression share.
I love that.
Lost due to rank. Yes. This is the other big one. So budget and rank. So what we mean by search impression share, and IS, you'll see in the modified columns, it's search lost IS. IS is your impression share.
That's because it's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It is quite long, yeah. But that lost due to rank, what that is essentially telling us is based on our bid score, based on all things, in terms of how much we're prepared to pay for the click, how relevant our ads are, the quality of our ad copy, the experience on our landing page, all of those components, Google gives essentially our campaign, our ads, our account, our campaigns and our ads a score, essentially, depending on how competitive the auction is, i.e. who else is bidding on those same terms for me, I'm going to get a rank. And the budget, the willingness, how much I am prepared to spend on that click, regardless of the campaign type, is going to go a long way to defining my ad rank, my how I score.
Yeah.
And if I can see that I am losing out impression share because the ad rank, God, we are getting technical on this one, aren't we? But if I can see that the impression share that I'm losing due to the ad rank, then that again is an indicator, and all of these metrics are indicators that actually I could get a lot more bang for my buck. I could get a lot more impressions and in turn a lot more clicks if I maybe looked at either increasing what I'm prepared to buy a click for.
Yeah.
So I might want to increase the CPC or give it a bit of a bit more leeway, or I need to look at the quality of my ads, or the assets I'm putting to them, just basically improve what I'm giving Google to serve to the end user.
Or quite simply also, and that's a top tip, have a look at your keywords.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah.
That's the first default one I'm checking.
Keywords and search terms as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you're bidding, your search keywords, look at your search terms report.
Yeah.
That's going to tell you a huge amount, exactly.
It's
going to break it down to a granular level. And again, that's the other thing with all these metrics is when you enable these additional columns, you can get different views of that data depending on where you are in the ad account. If you think of an ad account, the hierarchy, you've got your campaigns, your ad sets, you can break that down and you can then see different insights into the metrics at the different levels of the campaign, depending where you are. And
actually it makes perfect sense from the optimization point of view, because you go top to bottom. You never start from the keywords and then you work your way back. You don't jump between things. Essentially, you just go top to bottom, and that's where you're going to find the little things.
Yeah.
And I think for me always, optimization of ads was very much about doing the basic things right consistently. And a lot of people will be searching or looking for those golden nuggets, so they will be looking for a silver bullet. Actually, no, Google tells you just about everything you need to know to go back and optimize.
If you enable all these copies, it's so simple. That's the thing. And this is what we say all the time: is there's so much everything. The great thing about digital marketing, paid media is all the data's there.
It's there.
People just don't enable it. They don't enable it, and they don't know it's there. They don't enable it. And then even if they enable it, they don't interpret it in the right way. So they therefore don't understand it. I'll tell you another one that we both absolutely love, which is the search impression share.
Yes.
This is just, go on, just expand on what that is.
So this one is slightly more rounded up one, because this one essentially shows you against your competition. So this one shows how well you are actually performing against other people within the same space as you are.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love this one because I can see straight away to the point where actually I can see who my biggest competitors are and who I share that space with. So I know exactly who I go against, which means I can go away, I can research what they are doing, and then I can optimize it to actually, either match them or beat them.
Because I think that's the thing, when a lot of brands are running their ads, you look at your own data and you look at it, how are we performing, what are we spending per click, what level of ROAS are we getting? Whereas actually, the Google Ads platform itself, if you know where to look, it will actually give you insights into how you are stacking up, not just against yourself, as in this is your own performance, but against your competitors. And that search impression share is one of the most insightful columns to see. Okay, on average, and again, you break this down per campaign, you can really see, okay, for brand, we're stacking up really, really well. And for non-brand, for this category or for that category, actually, we're only 20%, impression share for this category. Oh, but this one, we've got a 40-50% impression share. And it's so informative to be, okay, well, what else is doing on there? Why is this happening? How competitive? Who else is going, as you say? And you could reverse engineer those insights and learn so much about, actually, we need to double down here, or there's an opportunity for growth there, or we can dial up the spend there because there's, there's so much room for growth within that vertical, that category.
Yes.
Just by identifying within the search impression share what's working.
Absolutely does. And the final one I would say is your search exact match impression shares. So essentially all these key phrases or or search terms
Yep.
that you want to match exactly. So then you know exactly where your money is going,
Yes.
you know how well you are spending, and
Yeah.
you know how well they are performing against the wider picture.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's so good, and it's just, and there'll be other. That's just a few. They're just a few of our favorites. There are so many more,
Lots.
and again, it depends on the goals of your campaign and whether you're e-commerce, whether you're lead gen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables in there, but just the T.E.A Talks takeaway, as we're now doing for this episode, is go into your Google Ad account. Click that massage that modify columns button, and just have a look. Spend the time, have a look through the different options there, and just enable a bunch of them.
Exactly.
Because you can look at it and see, okay, this, and if you don't like, you can disable it if you don't find it useful. But can pretty much guarantee there will be, if you haven't done this before, there will be things in there that will provide additional insights that you just aren't aware of right now, and the data's there, you're just not leveraging it.
Absolutely. And just very quickly to touch on, to add to this one, you can also create multiple layouts as well. So it's not just one thing that you always set and forget. You can add, depending what you want to achieve, you can just create multiple layouts, keep switching between them, and that will give you a wealth of data that you will need for optimization of your campaigns.
Look at that. I love that. That's such a good point. Well made. Amazing. Right. Do you know what? We've gone so technical on this one. We've probably got absolutely no one watching this episode. But hopefully there'll be one or two people that have just gone, do you know what? I like it. If you are enjoying us going a little bit more technical with our T Talks, let us know and we'll do more of them, because we're sitting on many years experience, as you told me the other week. Best part of 40 years of running Google Ads between us, which is depressing but interesting all the same.
But this is how we know that these columns are there.
We've been there, done it, and got multiple t-shirts, haven't we?
God.
So it's hopefully you found this one useful. We've got loads more T-Talks coming, so thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Bye for now.